It's only the end of March, and anywhere you go, home, office, your car, the first step is no longer putting down your bags. But have you wondered how our ancestors survived this heat without ACs? Yes, global warming has made the world hotter today, but places like Rajasthan have always been hot. How did they keep cool? Today, we are traveling back in time to find out how our ancestors used smart design and physics to create buildings that stayed cool no matter how hot it was. I'm Lavanya, and in this episode of The Climate Brief, we are investigating how buildings like the Hawa Mahal stay cool while your room feels like an oven. If you've stepped inside any old Indian forts, you've felt that instant drop in temperature. That's not magic. That's smart design in action. It comes down to 3 practices. Number 1, the design. Most Havelis were built in hot, arid regions across the country, but they all have one shared secret: the courtyard. Take the pole houses of Ahmedabad. These are closely packed wooden homes that have an open courtyard called the Angan. This acts as the lungs of a home as it exhales hot air and breathes in cool air. Cross ventilation is also key, keeping temperatures comfortable even in peak summer. Even today, Ahmedabad's pole neighborhoods are 5 to 6 degrees cooler than the rest of the city. Even in Tamil Nadu, you find it in the Chettinad mansions of Karaikudi. These homes were built with multiple layered courtyards, drawing cooler air into the house. There's another design innovation just as incredible: the jalis. They are beautiful latticed screens you see across old Rajasthani, Gujarati, and Mughal architecture. Fun fact, the Hawa Mahal has 953 jalis. They block direct sunlight but allow a breeze to come in. And the science? Pretty simple. When air is forced through a small opening, its speed increases and pressure drops. As the pressure drops, so does the temperature. This is called the Venturi effect. Now, on to the next important factor: the materials. Let's take an example: the Bhunga houses of Kutch, which are circular mud structures with thatched roofs and brightly painted walls. This shape reduces the surface area exposed to direct sunlight at any given time. And the thick mud walls have what architects call high thermal mass. Basically, they absorb heat slowly during the day without transmitting it inside and release it at night. And then there is lime plaster or chuna, which is the white coating you see in Amer Fort or in Humayun's tomb. Lime absorbs and releases moisture, keeping the interior humidity stable. Another great example are the blue houses that Jodhpur is known for. Because of its desert climate, the blue paint was used to reflect the sun's rays and keep the interiors very comfortable. Finally, the third factor: the surroundings. The very design of the entire block is key. The narrow alleyways of Jodhpur are deliberately designed in a way where it casts shadows on the street and effectively cools them down. Only a tiny part of the street is exposed to direct sunlight at any time. It's also strategically oriented east-west to minimize the transmission of solar radiation, and this creates an irregular path where wind can be redirected. The final rule: the more trees, the better. If you've seen any ancient architecture, you'll notice how they use gardens in all their structures, whether it's the Mysore Palace in Karnataka or the City Palace in Udaipur. But let me stress on one important thing. All this represents the collective wisdom of communities, developed through generations, and showcases this incredible harmony these people created with their local environment and their cultures. This vast knowledge encompasses construction methods shaped by geography, climate, resources, cultural practices, and lifestyles. The designs, the material, the surroundings are different from place to place, but what remains the same is how incredibly cool our ancestors were, literally and figuratively. A 2021 study found that modern houses in West Bengal ran 7 to 10% hotter indoors than traditional houses in the same region. So where did we go wrong? Walk through any major Indian city today. Every building looks identical. We forgot all that wisdom we saw in the previous chapter and replaced it with standardized architectural designs. And this one-size-fits-all approach simply does not work. Look at the materials we use: cement and glass. But concrete paving alone raises temperatures by 3.9 degrees Celsius. Glass turns your building into a greenhouse, letting sunlight in and trapping the heat inside, while cement absorbs heat all day and radiates it back through the night, keeping temperatures high long after the sun has set. Then, let's look at the design. The traditional ways took more time and more skill, so we decided to drop them. Most buildings today don't even account for simple ventilation. Our buildings became furnaces, and we reached for the easiest fix: the AC. Demand for ACs in India surged to 9.4 million units in 2024, with estimates suggesting a 4.5-fold rise by 2035. This solution, though, comes with a hidden cost that goes well beyond your electricity bill. ACs cool our rooms, but instead makes our cities hotter. Every unit running is pushing hot air directly onto the streets, adding to what is called the urban heat island effect. The building gets hot, we add more ACs, then the streets get hotter, and we need more AC, and this is a never-ending cycle. Side note, if you want to know more about the UHI, we have a whole video dedicated to it. So now you're probably wondering, does this mean you have to build a Haveli right in the middle of Mumbai? Well, no. The point is to understand the principles behind those old buildings and see how we can incorporate those principles inside a modern structure. And some architects in India are already building in a sustainable and climate-friendly manner. Take the Krishi Bhavan in Bhubaneswar, which is the Odisha government's agricultural headquarters. The building uses a double-skin brick jali facade that blocks 80% of incoming solar radiation before it even reaches the walls. So only 20% of the building needs mechanical cooling. The rest is managed through thick masonry, shaded balconies, and ventilation. The Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center in Hyderabad also has a unique design that captures the wind and recirculates it throughout the building. More than half the roof is a garden, which further reduces heat combined with the jalis. And uniquely, there are 2 cooling towers, which you see here, that can cool the air by 8 degrees by sprinkling water. If you've spent some time in Trivandrum, you've come across at least a few bare brickwork structures in the city. These were trademarks of Laurie Baker, whose design philosophy revolved around respecting the site, using local materials, and being cost-conscious. The Center for Development Studies, for example, is built with materials like laterite, stone, brick, and lime mortar. It also uses the innovative bricklaying technique called the rat trap bond, which creates air cavities in the edges of the building, thus reducing the heat while using 25% fewer bricks. And the building was surrounded by trees, using their shade as a part of this cooling system. While we cannot change our buildings overnight, there are things we can do from our end. If you are buying or renting, here are a few things to consider. 1. Ask which direction the building faces. 2. Check whether there are enough balconies and windows for cross ventilation. And 3. Make sure there's some green cover around the space. Pro tip: if you are building or renting space in a commercial building, avoid ones with glass. They are going to be way hotter and need much more air conditioning. The sad reality is that we've gotten here because somewhere along the way, 3 things started driving every building decision. How cheap can we make it? How fast can it build? And how aesthetic does it look? Comfort and sustainability became an afterthought. And the result? It's cities full of buildings that look beautiful but feel like a furnace. Let me know how you're keeping cool without ACs this summer in the comments below, and subscribe for more stories.